So today we are going to continue talking about authors and literature of the Northern Renaissance, including Machiavelli, the author of the book The Prince. Machiavelli's book The Prince was a Renaissance guidebook for rulers. In this book, he gives many suggestions as to how to rule and to maintain power. Step 1 says don't hire mercenaries. Step 4, don't borrow troops from your allies. Step 7, make people think you are merciful, faithful, humane, and religious. But then in step 12, he says, make sure you are feared, but not to the point of hatred. The Prince had an immediate impact in the shaping of the behavior of leaders. Certain wealthy and powerful families often controlled parts of Italy. Many members of these families even became popes. If you had enough money in that day, you could buy the position of the pope. One of the most notorious and powerful and wealthy Italian families of the time was the Medici family. There were 4 popes from the Medici family: Pope Leo X, Clement, Pius, and Leo the 11th. There were also other ruthless rulers from the family as well. The Medici family had controlled Florence for over half a century before a republic was established. Machiavelli served as a politician in that republic. And although his book, The Prince, discussed how to gain and keep power, the Medici family eventually took over once again, and Machiavelli no longer served in government. In fact, once the Medici family took over, he was first exiled, and then Machiavelli was imprisoned as well. The book The Prince was so monumental that words like Machiavellism and Machiavellian are still commonly used today to describe any sort of authority figure who tries to manipulate people under their influence. Now, thanks to all of this new literature that was coming about during the Renaissance era, people wanted to share their ideas even more. Thus came the printing revolution. The Chinese had learned to make paper and had printed books centuries earlier. By 1300s, methods of papermaking had reached Europe. By the 1400s, German engravers had developed movable type. At last, in 1456, Johann Gutenberg of Mainz, Germany, printed a complete edition of the Bible using movable metal type. With the Gutenberg Bible, the European age of printing had begun. The impact of the printing press and the printing revolution brought about immense changes. Books printed with movable type on rag paper were cheaper and easier to produce than hand-copied works. As books became more readily available, more people learned to read and write. They also gained access to a broad range of knowledge as presses churned out books on topics from medicine and law to astrology, mining, and geography. Printing influenced both religious and secular thought. The preaching of sermons is speaking to a few of mankind, notice an English author, but printing books is talking to the whole world. For those of you who may have forgotten, secular means anything not religious. With printed books, educated Europeans were exposed to new ideas that greatly expanded their horizons.